This is a What's the Story with Maria News live update.
Hi, everybody. It's Maria from What's the Story with Maria. How's it going? Oh my God, this is such a special episode. I know I always say that, but this is really special. So today is Tuesday, August 27th. Leo, hit that promo.
Yeah, I'm a big fish, small pond, day spring and the night's long. I create my own reality. Who I am is fine with me. I'm as famous, I'm as famous as I wanna be. Who I am is fine with me. It's who I am. It's who I am.
So I said it was special, but let me tell you something. Usually I'm in New York and Leo's in California. I'm in California too tonight. Well, how do you like that? We are still, I know, Leo. And yet California is such a big state that we're not even, well, what are we like 2.5 hours, 3 hours away?
Mm-hmm.
But I feel
106
like I'm
miles
closer
away
to-
from each other.
I feel like I'm closer to you. I really am. And you know what? I promise you, I'm saying this live, that I promise I'm going to make a trip to Palm Springs. Maybe I'll bring my sister. I think that would be a wild trip because she's turning 60 in a couple weeks.
Ooh, girl.
Like, actually, maybe in a week she's turning 60. And so I promised her that I would take her on a trip. And so I think that's what we'll do. Maybe we'll go to Palm Springs and then we'll have to get together. You will love my sister, Carla.
I believe that a new airline has just done a Saturday shuttle from Palm Springs to New York.
Oh, yeah? Wow, that would be so cool. I know Judy went out there with Dr. Vinny and Eddie. They went out a couple months ago. They had a ball. So, okay, let me see who. So let me just say I'm in Toluca
I
Lake.
didn't know she was in Palm Springs.
What?
I didn't know our senator was in Palm Springs.
Senator
I'm
Mason.
going to have a little discussion with her.
I know you will have to have a discussion with her. You know how she is. She flies under the radar from time to time. But anyway, so I'm at a good friend of mine. He's our guest tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, our guest is going to be none other than Michael Wooley, and he will be with us in a few minutes. Yes, you heard it right. Michael Wooley, the Michael Wooley.
Here, let's give everybody a picture so they know exactly what he looks like.
Yes, in case they live on know who Michael Wooley is. Michael Leon Wooley is the voice of Louis the alligator from the Disney movie The Princess and the Frog. He is also the voice of AMC movies. So when you go to the movie theater and you hear that booming voice, that's Michael's. But who is this pretty little coquette?
Oh, from the Queen.
This is also Louis, except Louis is Louis the drag queen from AJ and the Queen. And I told Michael earlier, I said, Leo and I are still peeing our pants at some of these scenes. If you have never seen AJ and the Queen, you have to go back and watch it. You have to go back and watch it. It is one of the funniest things I have ever seen in my life. And I was really, as a lot of us were, really stunned that it didn't go into a second season. Yeah. And I don't know, I always hold out hope, but it was so great and it has so many followers and it's such a cult classic that I urge you to go and catch AJ and the Queen. And
it had a lot of heart.
It had a lot of heart. It was super sweet. It wasn't just funny and animated. It was really, really sweet. You know, it was really, really, really sweet. You know, sometimes people don't know what to do with all that. I think that might be part of it. Let's say hi to some of our guests. Danielle, of course, our first and always. Danielle of Danielle Alexandria Alchemy. She is our friend. Happy Tuesday, Maria, Leo, and What's the Story with Maria family. Yes, I'm in Cali. Isn't that great? I am here. And I got to tell you, I have so many stories to tell you, Danielle. We have to catch up next week. So many amazing things happened while I was here. I really feel connected out here. I don't know what it is. Leo, maybe you can describe it, but There's something about California. You just can't put your finger on it.
It's because we're too far apart, and just the connection closer to you makes it feel good.
I know, and it's just I just feel relaxed out here, and the sun is beautiful, and it's just mellow. It's mellow for me. So anyway, Rick Caritas has joined us, and we're going to see him later because we're having Michael's idea to have a little get together at his beautiful apartment. So Rick is going to be here later with Adrian, Christian, 7 miles away from me. Oh my God, that's crazy. Rena Crinali Berge, my cousin from Massachusetts, says hello and happy Tuesday, beautiful people. And Rena, I am going to be in Massachusetts in about 2 or 3 weeks, so we will all hang out. That's going to be. We're so happy you're enjoying California. Rena, have you ever been to California? Because I feel like you would love it. We should. Oh my God. Maybe I can get Rena to come with us. Rena,
that would be fun.
You and my sister Carla, in Palm Springs. That would be amazing. And then Leo can come down and join us, and we'll all hang out at
Palm Springs. I'm calling Palm Springs. Heads up.
Right.
Heads up. Just be careful, Palm Springs.
And listen, Paul Bar, which is our favorite bar in. Well, it's a restaurant. It's called Paul Bar, but it's in Palm Springs. Will be closed for renovations from the 3rd, I believe, the 3rd of September to the 9th of October. So if you are fans of Paul Bar, which I know a lot of our listeners are, don't be alarmed. He's just expanding, which is great. I think he got the place next door, and it's expanding. So that's really cool news. What else is happening? So in New York, most of the shows are still open that I can think of. I want to give a special shout out to Suffs, which I saw a few weeks ago. It's incredible and so timely because it is. Thank you. It is so timely because it's about the suffragette movement, and it's really a big deal. And one of our friends, Tom Dangoria, who's going to be on our show in a few weeks, is one of the producers, along with Hillary Clinton. You heard me. Hillary Clinton is one of the producers. You know what? I would love to have Hillary on the show. Are you kidding? So shout out, Hillary. If you're watching, you are always welcome on the show. As a matter of fact, I have promised this to Hillary many years ago. If you ever want Hillary, I will make you a lasagna, which is a pain in the ass to make. But that's why I'm saying I would make a lasagna for Hillary Clinton. That's how much I love her. So she is my homegirl. Hillary is my homegirl. I have a shirt that says that. But anyway, okay. So this our friend Michael, who's joining us tonight. Michael, whenever you're ready, places. Michael, places. He is. I'm telling you, he is walking around. He's filling my water. He's freshening up. He's cutting fresh flowers. Ladies and gentlemen, let's bring him in. Oh my God, my friend Michael Leon Wooley. There he is. Oh. That $1 million smile of his.
Well, listen, the reason I'm picking up is because Maria's in town and I just had to have a few people over. And so I'm picking up because there are about to be 20, 25, 30 people here in like 30 minutes.
Rowdy people. So who knows? Anyway, this place is beautiful. It's so gorgeous here. And not just that, it's so chill. Michael, your vibe in your apartment is like the way, I can't describe it. It's your energy plus the way you have it set up. These beautiful, beautiful paintings. And just like, it's so beautiful here.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes, my pleasure. It's very chill. That's why I wanted a chill place. I think you even stayed here.
I did stay here.
You commented it was very...
it was so relaxing. My blood pressure went down by like 30 points.
That was the goal. But I'm glad you're in town.
Yeah, well, Susie and I did like a little short, crazy film. And that's what it was. We stayed here and then we all went to see the film. Michael was so cute. He got us a little limousine, like one of those black Escalades. And we all went. It was like a big to-do. You're very sweet, very generous. I love you. Anyway, so Michael is here. Now, Michael happens to be my friend. We've been friends for, I'm going to say, Michael, 25 years maybe? Yeah. So I was going to say I knew Michael when, but I knew Michael when he was on Broadway. So it's not like I knew Michael when, we were in high school together or anything like that. But when I first met Michael, it was in the piano bar at the duplex, and you would come in and you would just rock the house. It was incredible. Yeah. Like it was just a lineup of stars. It was you, it was Norm Lewis, it was Billy Porter,
Capadia Jenkins, Jerry Dixon.
Oh my
Mario
God.
Cantone.
Right.
Yeah.
Like those were the regulars that
Yeah.
would come to the bar.
Lawrence
Lawrence
Hamilton.
God rest his soul.
Yeah.
Wow.
Susie Campanaro.
Oh my God. Kenny Roberson.
Kenny Roberson, who was in town
Was
a couple
he?
months ago, and I had a similar party for him.
Really?
Yes.
Oh my, these are all like stars, like heavy hitters. But at the time, not that they weren't stars, they were Broadway stars, you know?
Yeah, I always say people talk about like groundlings where they, cut their teeth and did, that was like our groundlings for us Monday nights at the Duplex when we would come and like sometimes we were doing shows and we're off, but we could do new material, new songs, try out new things. And
because it was Monday nights, Mondays, Broadway is traditionally dark.
Yeah.
Everybody that was in these shows would come and hang out, and they were all friends, and we were all friends.
Sometimes the whole cast of shows would be there.
Oh my God. It was amazing. Like you could never replicate that again, right?
No.
You could never.
I go there sometimes on a Monday night. I walk in and going like, no.
And Darius Frowner was the musical director. So shout out to Darius. He often comes on and checks on us in our show. So Chauncey Dandridge, hi Michael, Chauncey from Stonewall. So it's pretty amazing that all those people, like I said, they were never not heavy hitters, but it was just like we were so blessed to have this place to meet where like Monday nights, like the doors would open and things would start. And then after the shows or before the show, whatever it was, then other people would come in and their jaws would drop because maybe they had seen someone in a show or something.
Yeah. Somebody would come from Utah and be like, what is happening?
What's going on? Right? Yeah. They couldn't believe it. So you were in, I remember you being in Smokey Joe's.
No, I didn't.
I mean, not Smokey Joe's.
Five Guys.
Five Guys Named Mo.
Yeah.
Right. And then you did a Music Man.
Yes. Oh my gosh, you got me.
Yeah,
yes.
I remember.
But I did some national tours along the way.
Okay,
my first job was in the national tour Pearly, non-equity bus and truck. I made $300 a week. It was a horrible job, and I loved it. I had the time of my life. I think it was like 19 or 20, and that was great. And I did a few other national tours. I did The Wiz with Stephanie Mills.
Oh, right.
For a hot minute. And
that's right.
I'm a child. And something else too. Oh, yeah, with the Pointer Sisters, Ain't Misbehaving.
Unbelievable. Yes. So those were all bus and truck tours?
Those were national tours. 2 bus and trucks and 2 national tours.
Wow.
And
so you said they were, it's not a lot of money for that stuff compared to Broadway or other things, but you had the time of your life.
I did.
So what does that mean? Like, I mean, I can imagine that.
It was my first tour. So even though we were like doing shows at night, we were sometimes we were either traveling or doing a show on a bus.
Right.
And our bus would break down sometimes.
How many people?
There were
30?
There were like
or more.
19 of us on a bus that sat 20.
Wow.
And there was like an empty seat that would move around on one of those little buses, like an airport shuttle bus.
Wow.
Almost like a van, an oversized van.
And you had to go miles and miles and miles.
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
You went city to city, did your show.
Yeah.
And people loved you.
Yeah,
so that's the thing about tours. You go to these cities that don't have the opportunity or towns, little small towns, don't have the opportunity to come to New York or to LA to see something. And so you go to them, and it's amazing.
Yeah, and it was when I was young, so I had a ball. You couldn't get me on that bus to go down the street today.
Right. Now you studied at the
American Musical Dramatic Academy, AMDA,
in New York.
I went there for a year. I wasn't asked back, but
what?
I think I was just.
Well, maybe they were full.
No.
Just trying to help you out.
No. I thought I knew it all. I was a bit of an ego.
We all did back then.
Yeah, and I was like, I'm staying and make it on my own. And then I stayed in New York, and I went to 107 auditions before I got my first job.
Wow.
And that job was Pearly, that national tour for $300 a week.
That's amazing.
Yeah. I was auditioning for anything and everything. I was auditioning for nuns in Sound of Music. I would just, I don't know if you remember, get backstage. You'd get backstage.
Yeah, back then, that's how we did it.
Yeah, there was no internet.
No.
There was no signing up for No,
that was, you went to You went to literally a newsstand, and it came out at 4 a.m. on a Wednesday.
Yes.
And I know because I used to work Tuesday nights at the duplex.
The newsstand right there.
The newsstand right there. And as on the way home, I would pick up a backstage, and I would pick up a Village Voice.
Absolutely. There was a backstage, and there was another one, Show Business.
But that one's kind of like a low budget one.
Yeah.
But backstage, you would open it, and so as soon as you got home, and you would circle everything that applied to you, even if it didn't.
Yeah.
But you were like, oh, I could go there and audition for that. And that's how you did it. You just showed up. And then you remember sometimes you'd sign up for those EPAs or whatever they were.
Open calls.
So you'd get there at 9 a.m. to sign up for like a 2 or 3 o'clock audition. So which means you were half asleep.
Sometimes hundreds of people in line outside the building. Kids don't know about that today.
No. And they'd come by, and sometimes they would, what do they call that?
They
type you out.
Type you out.
Which in lots of ways you were grateful for, too. Because they'd be like, no, yes, thank you. Okay, you can go. And you would just be like, okay, I guess they don't need you. Like, I remember the rent. Do you remember the cattle calls for rent?
Oh, my God.
They were outrageous.
Around the building.
Yeah, and it went on forever and ever and ever.
Oh, my God.
So that's the way it used to be. And you would go to these things, and if you got, like, even picked from that line, and then you had to do that, then you had to do sometimes a dance.
Yeah.
Remember?
You'd sing, and then if they wanted to, you'd dance. And then you'd probably come back and sing and dance again for more people.
Right. And then you'd read. Sometimes
read. It's a long process.
Yeah, and that's how hard it was to get into a show. It was really hard. And you did Five Guys Named Mo on tour.
No, I did that on Broadway.
Okay,
but I will say,
didn't you do the tour as well?
I did a small. I did do a tour.
Okay.
Yes, I did do a tour. Boston and a couple other cities. I did 3 cities.
And then you were on Broadway with that.
I did Broadway. And oh my gosh.
Yeah, Michael, I remember.
Yeah.
Because we've been friends so long. So like when you're friends with somebody and you really are friends and you love them, like you talk to each other on the phone a lot.
Oh yeah.
Like someone's on tour, you're like, what's going on? Where are you now? What are you eating? You know, like, oh, what are you watching? You know, you talk to each other. So I remember that specifically.
And I would see you too because, you know,
I was always at the club
and
all
theater hours.
Yeah.
11 o'clock is when I could talk to my friends.
Right.
And Maria was always around.
And I was always up.
Yeah.
You know, like I'm one of those night owls. So, but I remember Five Guys Named Mo. That was great. And then you were in Music Man. I remember that.
Music Man.
Remember that beautiful suit you had in that show?
I had a few suits. I had
gorgeous cream color suit.
Yeah, the cream.
I'll never forget that.
Yes, I did that for 2 years.
And then, oh my God, Little Shop of Horrors.
Yes.
Guess who he was?
Feed me.
That's right.
Feed me, Seymour. Feed me now.
Oh my God, the voice of the plant. I still get chills. So the plant would move and then you'd hear Michael's voice and I think, oh my God, that's my friend. But he was still scary. The plant was still scary.
It was. Kids would get scared. It was actually kind of funny. I mean, the puppeteers, there were 4 puppeteers inside the plant.
Really? That many, huh?
They were all from Sesame Street. And usually one main one inside the head of the plant and the others were like either switching off from day because it's a lot of work to do for one person for one show. And in the end of the show, the plant, which is on hydraulic lifts at the end, would rear up, remember, high in the air?
Oh, yeah.
It would come down.
It almost would come into the
audience.
Yes, you were like, that plant's going to eat me.
And on a really good days, you'd see some kids running up the aisle, crying and screaming.
Now, if you wouldn't mind, I want to hear you tell that beautiful story about Raymond. I would still remember.
Do you?
There was this kid that was. Tell us about that. I love this story.
I got word that there was a kid who wanted to see me after the show, and would I stay? I got notice ahead of time. I was like, yeah, sure, I'd see him. Oh, I said yes. He was going to come to the next show, but I said come early, and I'll see him before the show. And so I got to the theater that night, 7:30 as usual, and I got there in the stage door, and there was this kid. I opened the door. He was, he had a green sock wrapped around on his hand with some plastic vines wrapped around it, making a little Audrey too that he made himself. And his name was Raymond.
I never forgot that.
Yeah, and he was so excited to meet me and see the plant. I took him backstage to see the plant. It was great. And I even went to my dressing room and I got a hat that someone had given me. It was a baseball cap that said Little Shop of Horrors on it. But if you press the button on the side, the words Little Shop of Horrors would light up. I'm not going to wear that shit. But I knew this kid would love it. So I gave it to him. And he went out and sat and saw the show. And I remember during the show, one of the urchins was like, there's this kid, in the third row who's like going crazy when the plant's singing.
Oh my God.
And I was like, oh, that must be Raymond.
I love it.
I came out to take a bow, and there is Raymond, like on his chair, and he's waving this plant around. He's got a Little Shop of Horrors t-shirt on. He's got the baseball cap with the lights going on. And it made me a very rich man. And
that's a beautiful story. I never forgot that story. That's why I wanted you to tell it.
That was a great moment, Raymond.
Lynn Porter says hello. Hi,
Lynn.
man. We love
Write
Lynn.
me a show. Write me a song.
Listen, don't tempt her.
Don't
She's
probably
just started. She probably just ran to the piano.
She just finished the opening number.
No, you don't understand how fast she writes. It's ridiculous how fast she writes. My kids are going to be so excited. I know. You have to wait till you tell.
Right now.
Right now. She has grandchildren now.
Really?
Yes, she has a little one, maybe that I think is 4, and one that's like a year and a half. So she has Leona and Antonia.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wait a minute. And now Jackie, her other daughter, had a baby, and her name is, oh my God, I just went blank on her name. Type in her name. How did I forget her name? Waverly. Her name is Waverly.
Like
and
Waverly Place?
Yes, because Lynn Portis wrote a show many years ago called 108 Waverly. I don't know if you ever saw this show, but it's so beautiful. It's about 2 gay men that live at 108 Waverly in the 1920s, and what their life is like. And then it's kind of like if these walls could talk, like 80 years later.
Same place.
Same place.
Oh.
It's real, and it was just it played everywhere.
There's a bar of Waverly Place on Waverly and
Ye Old Waverly Inn.
Yes.
I remember because it's haunted. If you go on a ghost tour in New York, which I highly recommend, by the way, and that season is coming up, just type in New York ghost tours, and they are so good. You meet at one location, and most of them are free. You just tip the person giving the tours. I suggest $20 or more because they deserve it. And you walk their walking tours, but that's one of the spots. It's Greenwich Village, by the way, has more ghosts than London. Can you believe that? And I bet Danielle could tell us that. Oh, by the way, let's go back for a second. So Danielle Alexandria Alchemy is our friend. She's our friend, but she also is an amazing, and I'm not making this up. I'm not bragging about my friends and making this up. She is a medium. She's a psychic medium, spiritual advisor. She does past life regressions. She does quantum sessions. She does spirit animal readings. She does all of it. She talks to the other side. It will blow your mind. And so I highly recommend going to Danielle Alexandria Alchemy. But she could tell us about all the ghosts in Greenwich Village. I mean, it's crazy. So now, okay, you did all that amazing Broadway stuff, and you were great, and everybody loved you.
Yes.
And then you decided to move to LA, right? Did you decide, or did you have a job here first?
I began to do voiceovers then, especially I think out of Little Shop.
Yes.
And my voiceover agency, 90% of animation voiceover is done in Burbank, not too far from where we are here.
Okay.
And in Los Angeles. And I was kind of bi-coastal a bit, but my voiceover agency talked me into moving out here. It's like, why don't you give it a go? And I came out here, and the first year was horrible.
Really?
Horrible. I mean, I tell this to anyone. If you're moving to New York or to LA, the first year is going to suck.
Yeah, that's true.
And I also tell people, even more importantly, if you're in LA and you think the answer's in New York, it's not. And if you're in New York and you think the answer's in LA, it's not.
Wow.
I would give that advice.
I love that. So
But
just keep at it to wherever you are.
Keep at it. And,
well, it's about staying in the game anyway. It's about staying in the game.
And I will tell you that I don't know if I told you this. I did a workshop of a musical. I got a call one day from my friend Bobby. Said workshopping this musical. Can you come? I said yes. I had to sign all these NDA things, and the musical was called Book of Mormon.
So
And,
before it was on Broadway.
Yeah, did you see Book of Mormon?
Yeah, I loved it.
I created the role of the general with his patch over his
No.
eye. And I was actually, the patch was my idea. I was like, I want
Really?
to wear a patch to be crazy.
I love that show.
Yes, and at the time, let's see.
Were you living in LA at the time?
No, I was in New York.
Oh, okay.
I was in New York, and then I started to be bi-coastal a bit. Oh, and then I did this little movie called The Princess and the Frog.
Oh, wait a minute. Okay,
Yes.
so I'm going to jump in on this story.
Mhm.
So I'm at the duplex, and Michael just saunters in, but he's kind of what Michael does when he's excited. He's like he does this thing where he's like, I got to tell you something, but I don't want to say it too loud. Like he does this thing. So I'm like, what happened? What happened? He's like, I don't want to let the cat out of the bag yet, but this is going to be really big. I got something and it's really big. I don't know if I can talk about it. So sometimes he can't talk about it. But usually I am one of those people, me and Susie Camp, that get a little piece of like,
Very
guess
good.
what's going to happen.
Yeah,
Don't
you
say
are.
it yet. And I never do I?
No, you don't. And that's
No.
what a great thing. Both you and Susie, I can tell you and Susie about
No.
things.
We can hold secrets to,
Yeah.
we're Italian.
Because a lot of things I can't talk about till the contract is done.
Right.
But it's going on for a year.
But
So,
that
yeah.
night you came in. Oh my God. So that night Michael came in and said, I booked this really big thing. It's a Disney animation. I didn't know anything about it. None of us did, but it's really big. I'm going to be playing an alligator. That's all I knew. And then The Princess and the Frog. And Leo, can you show Louis the alligator if that is something that you would have on you? So Melissa.
Hi, Melissa.
Oh my God, many hearts. Dan Pardo, love Princess and the Frog. He has been to the new. Has he been? Of course.
Yes, I have. Yes, I have. It's amazing. It's amazing. Dan.
So this is Louis the alligator.
Yeah.
If you've never seen the movie, and maybe you haven't, maybe you don't have kids, or maybe you've never seen it, please, I highly recommend that you watch The Princess and the Frog on any of the
Disney Plus.
Disney
But
Plus.
it's other places too.
It's everywhere, and it's amazing. He is the voice, and you also sang. It's not just you don't just do the.
Oh yeah, I have
voiceover.
a song, "When We're Human." It's
So
on there.
great.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it's so good. And I kept watching it. I've watched it a million times, thinking, oh my God, that's my friend. Now I got to tell you a quick story.
Please.
So when I first met my girlfriend, Judy, her daughter was 9. Now she's 24, by the way.
Oh my God.
I know. So Christina is her name. And she was, like any kid, loved Disney and loved, all that stuff. And thank you, Christina, because I learned a lot of Disney songs because of her, because it was a 9-year-old with us. And I said to my girlfriend, I'm going to take her to see The Princess and the Frog. And I'm just going to watch her and see what happens. So I didn't say anything. So she loved the movie, of course, right? And so we leave there and I go, I know the alligator. And she goes, no, you don't. Because she was a little sassy. And she said, no, you don't. I said, yeah, I do. He's my friend. And, and I was always like, had people that she would meet. And she was like, rolling her eyes. I said, no, he's my friend. She said, no, he's not. And I said, I'm going to call him right now. She said, you're going to call the alligator? I said, yes. And I called Michael. And I go, I'd like to speak to Louis the alligator, please. And, his voice is so distinctive. So I go, hold on. Will you please talk to Christina? She thinks I don't know you. He gets on and talks to her. And this is what she did. She went, and she literally dropped the phone. She couldn't breathe. And tears started coming out of her eyes. She was like, oh my God. But then Michael's so sweet. He went even further. He met her. I took her to meet Michael and he took us out to lunch. I mean, can you?
Oh my gosh, I remember that.
Yes,
Yeah,
she was
so
little.
yeah.
She was so little. She still remembers that, by the way. But can you imagine what a sweet person to say, yeah, I'll go out to lunch with, your stepdaughter. I mean, how cute is that? So anyway, that is what Michael does. And he's just a lovely guy. And now at Disney, so they have the actual animated thing, right? You're the voice of that as well?
Yes, I am the voice on the, yeah, me,
Jen Cody, right?
Jen Cody's on it, but it's mostly the princess and the alligator, Louis and Tiana.
Oh
and
my God.
The story of the ride
right,
is Louis and Tiana are taking on a journey to find new musicians for the nightclub.
Right.
And so we're looking for like Zodiac musicians and all kinds of new musicians. There are a lot of new characters that weren't in the movie. And it's great. And at the end, we end up in Tiana's palace.
Oh my
Yeah,
God! I have to go to Disney just for that.
Yes, I think it's November 11th. It's going to open.
Oh my
Yes.
God! I can't wait. I love Disney anyway. I think
I'm kind of.
I haven't been in many years, but I love. Oh, there it is, Michael.
It's an animatronic.
People say this all the time that I look like him. I don't think so until today.
He's about 8 feet tall.
Is
I'm
he?
6'4", yeah.
Wow.
And there were 6 of those, 6 or 7 of them.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. That's only one.
Wow. That is so cool. So did they go crazy when you went out there to Disney?
I mean, not everyone knew who I was. People who knew me, yeah, would get excited. But
oh my God! So you
yeah.
did. That was the Disney adventure. I mean, that was huge. And
Yeah.
I just remember it well. And I just remember Christina, like it was. You were so sweet. And there's pictures of Michael and Christina when she was little, and it's just so cute that you did all that. Now, a couple years go by. You're out here. You're doing more voiceovers. You did the voice of the devil in The Ugly Americans.
Ugly Americans, yeah, that I was doing in New York.
Oh, you were?
Yeah, I was in New York doing that.
Wow. Okay. So, and you were doing commercials.
Doing commercials, and I got Princess and the Frog. Oh, so when the Princess and the Frog was nominated for some Oscars, and there's a little window during Oscar time where, it's really hot in the business, and I could take a lot of meetings because my movie was really hot. And there was a 2-week window right before the Oscars where I could take a lot of meetings, and my agents had set up. At that same time, there was another workshop, the pre-Broadway workshop of Book of Mormon. And it was at the same time that I had this opportunity to take all these meetings in LA that were like meant no work. It was just meetings.
Just meetings.
And there's something called right of first refusal. They weren't giving rights of first refusal. Like if you did the workshop, you had to go to Broadway.
Right.
Even though I probably would have, and I'm sure. But I decided, toughest decision of my career, to instead go take these meetings and not do that workshop.
Wow.
And then when the show opened, I went and did the meetings, came back, and then the show opened, I'll never forget. And it's a huge, sloppy, messy hit. It is just massive. Do you remember when Book of Mormon opened?
Oh, yeah, it's still huge.
Yeah.
But it was gigantic.
Could you imagine? And like, I'm not in the show. And then I do remember distinctly nights, like a long day, and getting in the subway by myself and the doors closing and it's Book of Mormon all over the entire subway.
Did you feel at that point like you made a mistake?
I just like,
or did you feel like, why did this happen to me?
Yeah, but you say that a lot of times in show business throughout the
know.
years. I'm like missing that show and this and that. But
right.
Those meetings laid the groundwork for my career that I have today.
I was going to say.
And if I hadn't done those, we wouldn't be doing this interview from here.
Right. That's true.
And the head of my voiceover agency talks about that story because sometimes decisions have to be made, in the long game of things.
Right.
And they're tough decisions, but,
Wow. Okay. So then when did I love all the stuff you've done, but I got to say, if I had to pick a favorite, it would definitely have to. I don't know because I love Lewis too, but that AJ and the Queen happened then.
Yes. Wait a minute.
Did we miss anything? Oh wait, what did Dan say? Dan says, I'm doing Little Shop of Horror at a gunk with Letice Royale, and Hunter is directing. He was telling us the story about how one time the voice of the plant fell asleep in the booth. Michael, was that you? No.
You heard about that.
Yeah, I'm not. It's not my story to tell.
I'll tell it, but yeah.
Well, it was in between shows, right?
No, it was during. It was during intermission.
Okay. All right. So it was during intermission. Okay.
Yeah. I fell asleep during intermission, and then I was late getting back up until second act was halfway through. But yes, Dan, that is me. Listen, tell Latrice I said hello. Tell Hunter I said hello. Give him my love. I missed him in Florida. I hope to see him in California when we open the ride out here.
Oh my God.
Jen.
And Brandy Massey. Do you know Brandy Massey? What a talent she is. You two would love each other.
Yeah.
Brandy is an amazing singer. She's working at Ellen Stardust, I believe. Are you still there?
Almost caught. I almost said, bitch, I saw you singing on my TikTok.
She's so good. She's so good. She was at Stonewall last week.
Yes,
She's amazing.
She can holler, right?
She can holler.
Okay,
yes.
I got exactly who she
Dan
is.
Pardo,
Great to meet you.
Yes.
Good luck on that show, Dan. Have fun. It's
Dan
such a
is an
fun
amazing
show.
musical director. He's a great guy. You would love each other. And Dan does a lot of really cool stuff. Okay, so now we're segueing because we could forget about it. I mean, we could talk about Michael's stuff forever. So this is my favorite thing that you've ever done.
Yeah.
Even though I love everything you've done.
Yeah.
But I still think about it and I can't stop laughing. So there was a great show on
Netflix.
Thank you.
Still on Netflix.
Still on Netflix. It's called AJ and the Queen. RuPaul's AJ and the Queen. And Michael plays RuPaul's roommate.
Yes.
Right?
What's my character's name?
Lewis as well.
Lewis, yes.
Because I thought it was wrong. Oh, there he is.
Yes.
There she is, I
There
should
she
say.
is. That's
So
in the
tell us,
final episode.
yes. So tell us about this character.
Lewis.
Now you had never done drag before.
I had not. No.
You're not a drag person.
No,
That's
I'm not a
your
drag
thing.
queen. People thought I was a drag queen afterward. Like I got some. The show came out. I got some requests to play at some drag clubs.
How crazy is that? I'm sure.
And also, people thought I was blind too.
All right, so tell them why they thought you were. So
well, my character. Look at my character. Look at my eyes in that shot. It's insane.
So this character that you played, Lewis.
And Lewis is a blind diabetic drag queen.
I mean, come on.
And he's RuPaul's best friend. I mean, yeah.
It was insane. I mean, there were so many funny scenes, and there was some sad scenes too.
It had a lot of heart.
It had a lot of heart.
Yeah.
But if you've never seen it and you're like, what? I don't know about this. It's called AJ and the Queen. RuPaul is the main character. And AJ's this little kid that he helps along. It's really actually a beautiful story.
It is. Yeah.
And but all his friends are drag queens and he's going across the country to do drag shows. And even Mario Cantone, who had never done drag, plays one of the drag queens.
That's right.
And I remember him saying, like, I've never done drag. But there it is. Thank you, Leo. AJ and the Queen. I cannot say enough about it. It's so sweet and funny and really, really cool. And Michael plays Lewis. I'm not going to tell you much about it because you have to see it yourself. It is just get ready, like you're going to be peeing your pants. It's so funny.
And you know my favorite thing. By the way, RuPaul, the best.
Thank you for saying that because I don't like. I'm not one of those people that's like, ooh, what's that person like, man?
One of the best people I've ever worked with. All my love, and not just a cool person, a great person, works his ass off.
I believe that.
And he works his ass off at just being Ru. Ru is up at 5 a.m. every day.
Wow.
And he is working. He's working on a number of projects.
And he does that game show too.
He's doing everything. He does all the things.
Yeah.
I remember one night we were shooting. It's like 1 a.m, and I was like, what? Like, what are you doing tomorrow? I'm sleeping in. And he's like, bitch, I have press at 5 a.m. I was like, okay.
Right.
But Ru is great and works so hard. And another testament to Ru, that shot you showed of me playing the piano and singing, that was the final episode of that season.
Right.
And the idea came up, and the writers and producer MPK approached Ru about having Lewis, my character, do this big number in the season finale of RuPaul's show. It's really RuPaul's show, and Ru was like, absolutely. So to let the number 3 step in and have a big number,
right,
in his show.
Yeah, but that's a real performer. That's a person that knows who they are and is comfortable with themselves. Doesn't have to be like, no, that's my spotlight.
Because we can see people doing that.
Oh, come on.
We know those people.
We know those people.
And there are a lot of them.
And they're exhausting.
100%.
Right. I mean, if you have to tell me how great you are, you're not great. You're not.
Yes.
I always say, don't tell me who you are, show me who you are. That's it. But anyway, so RuPaul is one of those great people.
Great.
I've never heard a bad thing about him. And he's been around a long time. I've never heard a bad thing about him.
Oh my God, that's me in the first season.
Oh my God, and I love it. Oh, it's so funny.
Oh my gosh, I'm blind. I had to memorize that to not get the keys.
Oh my! And you play piano. Now let's talk about you. Started off
Oh yeah.
as a musical director, right?
I started playing as a
in
piano
church?
player. I started playing at 5 years old, and my
Wow.
parents got me a piano, and I started classically first.
Really?
I thought I was going to be a classical pianist.
Wow.
That was and then
And
slowly.
you have a beautiful piano back there in your apartment. It's gorgeous.
Yes, it's great.
So you play piano really, really well and beautifully, and you play for yourself, and you can play for other people.
And apparently, I can play the guitar a little bit.
Oh wow! Thank you, Leo. See why I love Leo?
Yes.
So we haven't
You
even
are
talked
right.
about this. So I say screen, stage, film. So this film is Dreamgirls with Beyonce as the lead.
Yes, and Jennifer Hudson.
Oh my God! And go ahead, Leo.
This was my first introduction to you ever in life, Michael. And thank you, because Jennifer, yes, all that, but that song, brother, oh my God.
Oh,
I
Oh,
learned
Leo.
that song because of you.
Oh,
right, thank
Leo.
you.
Yeah, so I wanted to share that. Okay, now I'm
So
going back to
Leo,
you.
why don't you tell us about this character? This is from Dreamgirls, and
Yeah,
the setup.
I can only tell you that the song was amazing, and that gravel that you had in the voice singing it, just I mean,
And you
Yeah,
played the
that
guitar
was-
in this too. right?
Well, I look like I'm pretending to play the guitar, and it's I beat the girls in a singing contest at the very beginning of the movie.
Right.
And it's so funny that I would say I
Tiny
beat
Joe
the-
Jackson. Was it Tiny Joe Jackson?
Tiny Joe Dixon.
Dixon. Okay.
Yes, and I said to one more, I beat the girls in a singing contest. And you beat Beyonce?
That's
It's like no, no.
right. The character.
Yes.
Right. No, people are so funny. You beat Beyonce. But
I was so big
anyway,
back then, too.
well,
I put on weight for the road.
yeah. See, sometimes you have to.
You have to.
So there he is. Look at that. That's our Michael.
but that, oh my God, that sound, that way you sang that song.
Look at him gyrating and everything.
You know,
Wow.
it's choreography. There's
Yeah, I love it.
it's
So that if you watch Dreamgirls, that's Michael, and like one of the towards the beginning of it.
the very beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you'll see Michael and be like, "Oh wow, that's." And Michael has had such like talk about the career has spanned and spanned, and you've done a ton of roles like on different things, right? You played, like you said, you've played bouncer, you played all these big guys,
Security
right? All
guards,
these,
yes. I do think, like it was Ghost Town, that movie. And I can't even remember, because I don't think of myself. I'm a writer more these days, so I don't
Well,
think. I think in terms of writing. I don't think in terms of. I forget what roles I've done.
But because you've done these roles, you like. When did you start writing, Michael?
3 years ago.
Okay, right. It's not like you
Yeah.
went to school for that.
No, I didn't.
But because you've done all this stuff, because you've looked at so many scripts as an actor, you know scripts.
Yes. I think, and I say that because of I never studied screenwriting or anything.
Right.
But one thing, I've seen a lot of shows. I've been in a lot of shows, and I've been a part of a lot of good shows. Most importantly, I've been a part of bad shows. And it's those bad shows that I've learned a lot from.
Really?
Because like one thing, like in musicals or Broadway, you go to see shows, how many times is the second act horrible?
Sometimes the first act is horrible. You
Yeah,
want to leave, and
that
then
too.
you're like, okay, someone says the second act is better.
Yeah.
I hear that a lot too.
And sometimes you go and then something falls apart, and it starts off great, and then you're like, you're ready to leave. And so there's a common problem it's called a second act problem. It's common in so much in movies. Halfway through, you're like, I'm out.
Right. You don't care about the characters.
You
You're
don't
like,
care.
why
Yes.
should I care about this guy?
Yes.
Yeah.
And so I just learned a lot about characters and how to make people like a character, and
Right.
want to root for a character, and I'm funny.
You are funny.
Yeah, I just started writing, and I didn't expect much of it, and then the world kind of went crazy.
During COVID, right? You had time to write. Is that what you
I
mean?
started writing in COVID. Yes, actually, a great piece of advice someone gave me. What is that? My IMDb?
Well, look at that. Leo, I'm telling you, Leo's a superhero. Lynn says, Darcy says, loved it. Talking about AJ and the Queen. Lynn Porter says, Michael, your smile is everything. What a fantastic show. Thanks so much, Maria, and beautiful Leo. Yes, because Michael has so much to talk about. And also, one of the things that's so great about you, Michael, is like people can really learn from your your experience, like, or you're staying in the game. Like you have to, if you want to make it anywhere in life, you have to stay in the game.
Yes.
It's really it's a long game. It's not a short game. Like, what I always hate when people go, oh, that person was an overnight success. What are you talking about? I remember Harrison Ford one time said an overnight success started 30 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Like whatever it was that he was doing at the time. And they were like, oh, Indiana Jones. He's like, do you know how long I've been at this? Like, so, or whatever, or Star Wars or whatever he did. I said, I was building closets until a few weeks before I auditioned for this. Like,
right.
Literally. So that's just the way it is. And also, I think you can attest to this, you have to be willing to keep working at whatever else you're doing to pay the bills. Like, you can't just rest on your laurels and say, well, I'm just going to do this or nothing else. You have to always find things to generate income, and your voiceover, you've always continued to do voiceovers, right?
Yeah.
Like, that's been your thing.
Yeah. And even, it's hard work. I hope that's the one thing, this younger generation, I hope they understand that it's hard work. By the way, when you get more success or go up a plateau, it's just more work to do.
Right.
I think there's this illusion of arriving. There's no arriving. Once you get someplace, it's just more different stuff to do, but more of it.
More of it,
and
right.
Constantly.
And
words of wisdom.
What, honey?
Words of wisdom.
Words of wisdom, yeah.
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 No
the more you go up, the more the work.
Yes. Right.
And the higher the stakes, I think, right?
Yeah, and I think people are fascinated with being a celebrity more than being, an artist or an actor or a singer or dancer. They're I think.
So let's go back to, first of all, I do want to, because there are people here that are diehard fans of the show, like my cousin Rena, and usually we do the food section of our show at this moment.
Oh, okay.
But I hate to break it to you, there is no food section of the show because we didn't cook.
Oh, I wish.
I know, but that's okay. We could have.
Give me 2 minutes.
I know, we'll just whip something up. But I will say we're going to have a few people. Michael's idea. We're going to have a few people over after the show, and Michael ordered pizza. So I know that, and people are bringing sweets and all that. I did stop at, where did I stop? Big Boy?
Bob's Big Boy.
Bob's Big Boy. Infamous. I've seen it a million times. I don't think they have them on the East Coast. And I was driving by Michael's, and I was like, wait a minute. I had like about an hour to kill, and I went to Bob's Big Boy. My waiter was Juan, and he was magnificent. And but I didn't have the burger because I had a burger at In-N-Out the other day, which is amazing. That's a California thing, right? In-N-Out burger. So good. Oh, my God. And so today I had the pulled pork sandwich. Well, I highly recommend that with a little coleslaw. And I had a shake, one of the best chocolate shakes I've ever had in my life.
Yes, Darcy. Yes.
Darcy likes it too?
In Burbank. Yes, that Bob's. It's iconic.
Is it?
Oh, yeah. It's famous.
I mean, I love it. It's so old school.
They film there.
Like, wow.
They have old cars on the weekends there. Like,
do they?
It's taken over by
It's fantastic. I loved it. I went in there and it was so much fun. And I said,
I have a dare for you.
Darcy, it's OG. Maria. I think so.
Yes. Really?
It might be the OG.
Oh my God, that's so cool. So I took pictures while I was in there because I felt like it was something special. It was really cool.
Took a picture by Bob's,
the big Bob's?
Yeah, out front.
Well, I was by myself, so I didn't. I mean, I could have done a selfie, but I did take pictures in there. But my waiter, I got a shout out to my waiter, Juan. He was fantastic. I'm a big fan of great waiters and bartenders, and because I've been in that business my entire adult life. So I always, one of my dreams, if I ever hit the lottery, is to go to a million different places and leave like $1,000 tips everywhere. So hey, you never know. But anyway,
sit at my table. Sit at my table.
I will. I will. And wait, right now, by the way, the millions. Mega Millions is up to $527 million as we speak. 8:00. You got it. Oh, it's too late now. Oh no! Wait a minute. You got an hour.
Yeah.
But because I have my watch, I left it on New York Times so I can see what time it is, and then of course, everything else is on California time. So we have about 8 minutes left. Now, You can't talk about too much detail, but you're a writer now, right? You're writing screenplays?
Yes, I can talk some details.
I don't want to get you in trouble.
All right.
I don't want to be
one,
that.
I'm a producer on one.
Okay,
so,
all right.
know.
So go ahead.
Yes, as we were saying, I just started writing recently, but my first screenplay was optioned by a movie company called A24, which is a big company. If you know, you know. If you don't, I don't know what to say.
It's a big deal, right?
It's a big deal. It doesn't get any bigger. And the second screenplay I wrote, there was a bit of a bidding war for this screenplay. 10 companies wanted it. And I met with about 8 of them, I think, 7. And yes, thank you. 824, yes. Sudi, you get it.
He gets it. He's coming to
If I say, like,
oh,
Sudi is great.
Yeah.
Because sometimes if I say 824, if you get either you get it or you don't. But they're a huge thing. They did a lot of everything all at once. What is that movie?
Oh, Everything Everywhere All at Once?
Yes,
yeah.
That's one of their movies. The second movie, I'm producing it. 2 companies merged together to produce it, and I'm joining them. One of my producing partners, it's his company, Kevin Hart's company, Heartbeat, is my producing
Just a little
partner.
company. Just a little bitty company. Kevin Hart's company.
We just got our directors, James and Bash, these 2 directors. They work together. They're amazing. And we're actually in the middle of casting right now.
Boy.
I've been looking at casting a couple of the leads, and it's a very big movie. I wrote it. It's about 2 black guys. Did you know this?
Well, God, you tell it.
It's about 2 black guys. These 2 hip guys, Clayton and Lamont from Detroit, and they're ghost hunters, and they have a YouTube channel with like 73 subscribers, and they're ghost hunters, and they get transported back in time to 1600 Salem, Mass, to help a little white girl's mother who's been accused of being a witch. It's called Witch Please, and it's really funny.
So it's like, Witch Please.
Yes, exactly. And
I love it.
it's really exciting. It's going to be a big budget movie.
Are you going to film in Salem?
I don't think so. We're probably going to find a small town, but it could. I wouldn't be surprised.
If you do, my niece lives out there. She's been in Salem for a long time. I'll take you around to all the restaurants.
Maybe I will if I do research.
Oh my God, it's so Massachusetts. I grew up there.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
I forget. Boston.
Witch Please. So be on the lookout for Witch Please.
Yes. But hey, before that, if you still want to hear me and haven't seen any of these things, you can always go to your local AMC movie theater.
He's the voice of AMC movie
where you'll
theater.
hear me say, "Welcome to AMC. Don't talk, don't text. Are you an AMC Stubs A-List Rewards member? A very special thanks to you."
I had to shut my eyes because otherwise I know it's Michael. I have to pretend I don't know. Oh my God, I love it. And Keith Torgan says, "Wow, Keith is a wonderful singer-songwriter, and he's a beautiful visual artist as well. So check out torganarts.com. He's our friend." I like to shout out our friends because the people that check into the show and the people in my life are very special. I choose my friends wisely, and a lot of them come on and check out the show. Darcy Blakesley is also an actress and a singer, and now she's studying to be a speech pathologist.
Okay. I'm loving that.
Darcy. Yeah. And she's a great actress as well and comedian. Love you back, Keith. And Keith's wife is a beautiful, she plays the flute and she's amazing. And she works in the Pits on Broadway and all that.
Right.
So the orchestras, that's what the Pits is, by the way. The Pits of Broadway are the orchestra section. So anyway, all right. So I want to recap because I want you to go, if you've never met Michael, some of you never have, a lot of you know who he is. I want you to go back and look at some of this great stuff. So AJ and the Queen, he plays Lewis, the very funny roommate of RuPaul. Adorable.
The eyes, though. Look at the eyes.
I love the one when you're on the street with those big heels because you're already gigantic. You're 6'4", and then the heels, but the scene's just hysterical. Your comic timing is so good, and then it's so there's a lot of voiceovers. You'll just hear Michael out of the blue. You'll be like, wait, I know that voice, and then just Lewis Lewis easy, but they're spelled differently. Lewis,
no, they're the same.
They're the same?
Yeah, same spelling.
Oh, okay. So Louis the alligator in Princess and the Frog, whether you have kids or not, if you have kids, they're going to love it. And I always tell that story about Christina. She was 9 years old, took her to see in the movie theater. And I said, it was one of the greatest moments in history where I was like, I know the alligator. She was like, no, you know, kids are like, you're so lying. And I called Michael. Hello, Louis. Anyway, that was a really fun. And he knew exactly what I was doing. Knew exactly. I have Christina here with me, and she just doesn't believe that I know. Oh, he was just like, hello, Christina. And she was like, I'll never forget it. She dropped the phone.
I remember I talked to her. Hey, how are you?
Right. But you know, the voice is so distinctive.
Guys, kids don't talk. Kids are always silent.
I know they are.
Let me talk to him.
So we want to thank you for coming on. We have a few minutes left, but Michael, I always like to have whoever my guest is talk about, and you've given us so much amazing advice about the business and all that, but kind of like a closing. All our people that watch our show, almost all of them are creatives in some way.
Mm-hmm.
And what is some great advice? You've already given us tons, an unsolicited great advice. Right. But what would you say to someone that's kind of stuck right now that maybe is like, I don't know, am I even that person whatever it is that they're struggling with as a creative person? What advice would you give them? A general?
That's easy.
This
piece of advice that I got that being a writer, I've always thought about writing, but I never, thought I could. And someone said, just sit down and write the first horrible draft. Now, I knew I couldn't write a great movie. I knew I couldn't write something incredible, but I knew I could write a horrible first draft. And that's what I sat down and did. And from that draft, I worked on it and fixed it, and cleaned it and tightened things up here and there. And that script launched my career. And even going into writing my second script, I sat down to write that first horrible draft. So I think when it comes to writing a song, or writing a screenplay, or writing a movie, or thinking about a project, or what you want to do next, just do that first horrible draft that no one's going to see, that's only for you. And from there, great stuff can come.
I love that. Yeah. Now, from that, I want to ask you, now that you know you got your feet wet, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then now that you got your sea legs, as they say.
Yeah.
Do you just write, and then go back and edit? Or do you write a few lines, go back, change? What's your process?
Well, now I write 6 to 7 days a week.
Do you?
I write, it's what I do. I'm a writer now.
Well, thank you for taking a day off.
Oh, nice. And I only like 2 to 3 hours a day. That's kind of it. I'm good.
Do you have a set time that you do it?
I like to be in my chair at 1:00.
Oh, I love that.
There's a specific place I go to write called the Astor place in Hollywood. And I just go to write. If I write 2.5 to 3 pages in a day, I'm good.
Yeah.
But in a week, that's like 15 pages.
Yeah.
That's my little set thing. I still don't know what I'm doing. Many people have done this for many years. I've done it for 3,
Yeah, but I think
4th movie now.
I've heard so many people say that they do draw some of the stories from things that have happened to them, but also people just some people say they just channel, like they just are open to whatever comes through, and they see what happens from there. So every writer I've ever talked to, screenwriter, book writer, a songwriter, always says the same thing. You just start somewhere. Just start.
Yeah, just start.
That's it, and then see what happens.
That's the hardest part. And even writing, I think a lot of creative stuff, even making a song, we have the hardest job because we start staring at empty blank pages.
Right.
So you just got to dive in and jump in.
I love that. You ever dream any scenarios? You ever wake up and be like, oh, I got to write that down?
With some jokes I do. I have an iPad. I will put jokes. I write down if they come to me right before I go to bed. Yeah. But the very first script I wrote was an idea I had for 6 years.
Wow.
I'll tell you real quick. I'm a big sci-fi fan, and I was watching War of the Worlds with Tom Cruise for like the umpteenth time.
Oh yeah.
And there's a scene where Tom Cruise is running down the street and all these people are blowing up around him. And I said, oh my gosh, those aliens sure do like celebrities. And I remember us sitting on my couch, and that gave me a German an idea for a script. And I had told my friend about it. And I said, but I could never do it. And he said, just sit down and write that first vocal drum. And out of that, after about a year of many rewrites, came a script about an alien invasion.
Wow.
Where aliens come and seem to be blowing people up and everyone goes crazy. But once it's realized the aliens are only blowing up white people, let's just say not everyone goes crazy. And that movie is called Hey, Wait a Minute. And that script was bought by A24.
Wow.
By the way, no one dies in the movie.
Oh, thank God.
No one dies.
Because I'm a white person.
Yes. But Susie wants to be blown up so bad.
Oh, of course she does.
Like,
it would go like this once. Oh my God.
Susie asked me once a week to be blown up in that movie.
Of course she did. And she would be dressed as Lavinia. Oh my God. Wig would fly off. She's so nutty. Well, unbelievable. Unbelievable. Well, listen, I do not want to be blown up yet. I want to stick around long enough to vote for Kamala Harris. So listen, this is the end of our show. However, I want to remind you, Postcards of Swing States is now closed. You cannot register anymore because they have. Okay, so Postcards of Swing States started out with, I think, 5,000 postcards going out the first year. They are up to something like 42 million postcards that people like you and me write out and send to Swing States. And
Scott, hi.
Who's that? Scott Ryan. I know that fool. He said,
I do too.
He has a little dog right now.
I see it.
My God. Sparky.
I know more about his life than he does. I follow him on social media.
Adorable.
His husband.
No, he's married now.
Yeah.
He made an honest man out of Emmanuel.
I see.
He's hot.
He's on vacation right now.
Hot. Yeah. So I went to their wedding in Florida. It was wonderful. We had a beautiful time. Anyway, but what you do, please go to vote.org and you just type your state in. Just make sure that you're registered, whether you think you are or not, especially some of the red states. Check your registration because there's a lot of foolishness going on with moving districts around and everything. Just check it before the actual day happens. Make sure you're registered. Also, you might have just recently moved. Don't assume that your registration will move with you. It does not. You have to make sure. So even if it's a couple blocks away, you may be in a new district now. So please check that. Everybody I'm giving everyone an assignment. Talk to one person that may be leaning to the right. Do not belittle them. Do not lose your temper. Have a one-on-one conversation with them. And I don't mean like, hey, you, I need to ask them. So let me know what is it about your candidate that you like? And listen, hear them out. I'll tell you what I like about my candidate. I will tell you that most of the time you will find that if you stop calling each other names, that there's somewhere in the middle that you're like, wait, we both wanted that. Yeah. Well, let me tell you why I like my candidate, because she gives me that. And I'm telling you, 9 times out of 10, people hear each other. Because I think that if we start talking to each other again, we're going to see that we really all want one thing, and that is democracy and fairness. Well, that's more than one thing, right? But we want democracy. Everybody believes that America should be the land of the free, and we should live in a democracy. So with that said, I cannot thank you enough. I love you.
Love you too.
Mwah. 2 pieces.
Yes.
My buddy for a million years, my pal, always so nice and so just sweet as can be. Please go and watch everything Michael does because you're going to laugh your head off. And he's a great guy. And don't forget, he's also an amazing singer. He's not just a comedian. He's not just an actor. He's an amazing singer.
So is Scott Ryan.
Oh, yeah. Well, we know that. We know that. So go and check out. And listen, if you're in Florida, in the Fort Lauderdale area, Scott Ryan is an amazing realtor.
Yeah, I see.
If you're buying property out there, go and check out Scott Ryan. Is it Ryan Realty with Remax, I believe. So go and check that out. Anyway, we love and appreciate you. And please come back every Tuesday at